Well, I prepared this in English, so I will speak in English if it's okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Filip. I work here in Prussia as a DevOps engineer, and I will speak about how we use ArgoCD here. So first, let's take a look at our stack. The prime mover here is Terraform. Well, yeah, actually, the prime mover is Deněk, but let's say it's Terraform and TerraGrund. And using those, we spin up our Kubernetes clusters and deploy a bunch of tools, varying from like battle-tested standards such as Prometheus, Grafana, Loki, to more fresh, not as standard ones, like external secrets, which is an alternative to the ArgoCD Vault plugin Milan was speaking about. And yeah, I like that very much. Simple, but works. And also Crossplane, ArgoCD, and ArgoCD Image Updater. The last three mentioned are the ones I'm going to focus on today. So let's begin with ArgoCD. Just a quick introduction about what it is. ArgoCD, by their own words, is a declarative GitOps continuous delivery tool for Kubernetes. So to break it down, declarative means that you just specify the target state or the desired state, and you don't care about how this state is achieved. This is something that the tool takes care of. Okay, GitOps, yeah, it was mentioned before. So for us, it just suffices to say that everything is as a code and version controlled in Git. Okay, and continuous delivery tool, it's something that helps you to automate your deployments and make them as smooth and clear as possible. Well, ArgoCD for sure can deploy to multiple clusters, and the big thing is for me that it has a nice web UI where you can get a visual overview of the applications, and also you can shell in the containers and see some logs if you allow it. So yeah, it's very useful and handy tool. The core concept in ArgoCD is called application, and it represents a group of Kubernetes resources. This group can be defined in multiple ways: customize, Helm, or it can be just a simple directory with YAML manifest. So yeah, it really depends on you. And the interesting thing, or yeah, is that the application itself is a custom resource definition. So an application can contain other applications. This pattern is called app of apps, and we will see how useful it can be when we will talk about our structure. So let's move on. The next thing is Crossplane, an open source tool that transforms your Kubernetes cluster into a universal control plane. Wow, okay, so what's a control plane? Control plane is a component that manages the lifecycle of resources. It checks that the resources exist, it reports if they are not in the intended state, and it acts to make things right. You can take as an example, for deployment in Kubernetes, and the control plane of Kubernetes takes care that, for example, the number of replicas matches the desired number, right? If you delete the pod, and it gets created again thanks to Kubernetes control plane. And what Crossplane does is that it extends the Kubernetes control plane such that it can manage almost anything, anywhere through standard Kubernetes manifest. Like, I mean, anything that has an API. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We use it to create buckets in our Google storage and create also service accounts and give them permissions to access the buckets, and also to create databases and users for those databases. So we will see that later. And there is another thing the Crossplane can do, and that's you can create custom APIs, which is something we don't really use, but I think it's a killing feature for Crossplane it can be super handy for larger teams. If you have a platform team creating custom APIs, it can be like a group of components, and you don't need to expose your developers to the complexity of all the things. But for example, for example, you can create a database manifest, and your developers just say, okay, I want a database, and in the background there is a database created, user, some grants, or anything you need. So this can be very handy, but as I said, we don't yet have a use case for this. So yeah, I know it just more like theoretically. Yeah, okay. The last thing I promised I will speak about was ArgoCD image updater, but the name is quite self-explanatory. But I think we will get how it works from our pipeline. That's why I already started with describing our pipeline. So it starts with a developer, as you can say, and push. There is a push to this application repository, and this push can trigger a CI pipeline. We use GitLab CI, and in this pipeline, we build new images and push them to the image repository. All the resources for application we define in a Helm chart, which sits in another repository. And there is yet another repository. Yeah, I was prepared to say it's green, but it doesn't look very green here. Okay, so it's this green repository. And it contains ArgoCD application, referring to the Helm chart and also to the image. And there is, also the Helm values. This is basically how our GitLab looks, but how it gets deployed. In our Kubernetes cluster, there is ArgoCD watching the green repository and deploying everything that sits there, everything that is referred from the Helm chart. Yeah, that's basically how it is deployed. But there is one other thing, and it's the image updater. This image updater is constantly checking the image repository, and it pushes tag updates to this green repository. So when there is a new image, there will appear new commit with a patch. Okay, that's basically it, but don't worry, it will, okay. I will run out of power. So that's a short break. There is socket somewhere. So, yes. That was unexpected. The blue death. Okay, it's there. Yes, I said it will get a bit more complicated, but I didn't expect this. But now we can continue. This is how we use the app of apps pattern. You can see we have 3 layers of applications. These two, this denotes that it's a repository. These two I call cluster layer application. Okay. Cluster layer applications, and they just take care of deploying all the applications in the middle layer so that you can deploy every application in your cluster using just a single command. Okay. In the second layer, which I call image updater layer, there are annotations instructing the image updater what to do. And in the final layer, there is the green repository with the Helm values referring to Helm chart and the image of the application. And this one is the one that finally deploys all the resources to the target namespace. Okay, so why do we use this middle layer? Besides it allows us to define how the image updater should behave, it also allows us to turn off the automatic syncing for the production environment, yes? Because if there is a new version detected by the image updater, then it is pushed to the repository, and yeah, it will get deployed automatically if the sync was on. So this is something that allows us to turn it off. By the way, we deploy to production using Git tags, version tags like semantic versioning, and to the stage we usually deploy just all that is on the stage branch, and this is deployed automatically. The last thing you can see here is that in this final layer, the bottom one, there can be multiple applications. For example, if you need feature branches or something like that. Yeah, you also can see that we deploy to different clusters here. Okay, that's basically what I wanted to say before going to some short demo. Because this was a bit abstract, now I want to show you how the files look like. So, for start, here is the cluster layer application, which just refers to this repository, all those applications, and deploys everything inside. Well, it's not everything because this repo is customization application, so it's just the folders specified here. Okay. There is another layer, the image updater layer, and it looks like this. Here you can see, I don't know if you can, yeah, here you can see the cursor. Good. Here you can see the annotations for the image updater, and also the target repository. And this is the green repository, finally. So let's go there. It's over here. Demo, I can see it here. Yeah, and this is the application referring to the Helm chart here, the image here, and it also has the values. So how does it look like in Argo? This one is not so interesting. It's the cluster layer one. So it just deploys everything inside. And over here, we have the image updater one. I can go inside, for example, this. And it's a simple application containing service, deployment, ingress, and an external secret. And what it does, it just greets the world. Cool. So before going on, I will push some changes here. And also the tag. Hope this will work. And also, I will push over here. This was a change to the production demo, changing the version of Helm chart, okay? So now if I go to the image updater layer of the production quotes and refresh, make Argo to check the Git. Now I see it's yellow and that says it's out of sync. You can see what differs. Okay, there is a new version of the Helm chart. Let's sync that. Maybe before I sync, because there are some Crossplane manifests, I will show you that the bucket that will be created is not here now, I hope. Yeah, it's not here, it's called demo. So I will sync now. And watch everything going deployed. So besides other, I have just deployed a Crossplane manifest, which instructs Crossplane to create new bucket, to create a service account for the bucket, and a policy that will use the workload identity, which is something that maps Google accounts to Kubernetes service accounts, and that is something that you can use if then we have a job here that is run under the service account and it can access the buckets. So it's quite handy, quite easily set up. We will see if it worked already or not. Okay, there is this demo bucket now. Let's see, it does not contain anything yet. Maybe I will delete the job. That's something ArgoCD also takes care for you. If you delete this job, it will be recreated. That's the thing, because I'm in the production, so the image is not synced automatically, but everything here is synced. Like the auto heal mechanism works for production too, but the new images are not deployed immediately. Yes. I'm not sure if it will create anything, but I hope. Yeah, you see, there is, yeah, it should be some time, but never mind. There is another thing you can see. This one is marked that it should be deleted, but we have the application set that it won't delete any resources if I don't delete it. It won't delete it by itself. It's quite important because yeah, you can get burned if you forget about this. And there is also one thing that you can forget about, and that's the finalizer. Well, maybe first I will check if the builds already, yeah, the builds are already there. So let's check if we have something different here. No, not yet. So maybe I will refresh, try to push things forward, because the image updater is kind of yeah, now we can see here something changed. We can see that we have new version ready to deploy, and on stage what should have happened is that it should deploy by itself. Yes, now yes, it got synced. Okay, so we can see that there is a new version deploying right now, and that's basically what we wanted to show. Yeah, I think it's not important what the result is of the new application. It just says hello ArgoCD instead of hello world. I will spoil that for you. And the last thing I think I wanted to show you was, okay, I can show you the web UI, how you can shell in. Okay, this is the bot. This is the bot. No, refresh. There is another one. Okay, let's go to the prod one. You can so easily shell into the bot and yeah, do some magic here. And also you can see the logs. So that's quite handy. And the last thing I wanted to show is that if you delete this one, you have to be careful, because here in the final error stage, there is a slight difference between the application demo stage and the feature one, and it's this finalizer. For the feature one, we have this finalizer enabled, and that means that if the application is deleted, then every resource under that application is deleted too, and yeah, also can be very dangerous. So now we can see how that if I go to my stage cluster, okay, can I see the namespace? Yes, one. Yes, only the demo stage bot is there, but not the feature one. So this is something that like you have to be careful about when first meeting Argo. Yeah, and I think that's basically it. There also were created two databases. We have Zalando PostgreSQL operator, and this one can create database and uses for you. So we don't have to create anything. But we also use Percona MySQL operator, and this one cannot create databases and users for you. So we do it using Crossplane. We have maybe I will show it you here. We have manifest for the database, for the user, and for a reader grant or something like that. And that's basically it from the demo. So far, it looks everything beautiful and yeah, sunshine everywhere. But the image updater is quite a young tool, and especially if you want to use it as we use it with Git writeback and Helm application source, it's kind of you're gonna have some bad time. Maybe we have it set up using quite hacky way, and what happens is that apps with multiple images get the tags removed randomly. That sounds horribly, but we have it covered, so it doesn't deploy or undeploy anything. It just messes up the history of the final layer application. So it's like we are hoping for almost a year now that they will fix this, and I'm almost ready to fix it myself when I have time for that. So maybe in the future. And yeah, there is another thing that the log level is not working, so the image updater is constantly logging some crap. But overall, ArgoCD is very nice tool. Pleasure to work with, and here are some few nice features we use. You can log in using GitLab, and you can also mirror the airbag, the groups, and that's like, yeah, I appreciate it a lot because I really don't like setting permissions. You can send notifications to Slack, Grafana, or anywhere. Like there is a long list of places, and yeah, just a bit from different bucket. Now there is another thing. I don't know how to call it. It's called application set, and it's just a template for applications. So maybe I won't show you how it looks like, but we use it for a set of applications which has the same Helm chart and differs just in the values and the image. And it's we heard it before, so maybe that's the place where I will stop and give some space to you, because if you have any questions, now is the time.
Yeah, I have a question. So regarding Crossplane, so was that a greenfield deployment where you already started with Crossplane, or you had installed some platform tools that you use for creating security processes, and then you migrated to Crossplane? If yes, how this migration went?
Yes, the first kickoff of the infrastructure is done through Terraform. So also the Crossplane is installed by Terraform, ArgoCD is installed by Terraform, if that's what you are asking.
I was asking if like the application used to have like a mixture of Kubernetes manifest and mixture of Terraform code, and then you migrated it all to the
No, we are in the process of migrating everything basically from scratch. So it's everything in this new version. There was no hard transition. Okay. Stop sharing. Cool. What if you need to deploy Helm values together with a new image? How to do it simultaneously not the values before image, not vice versa. Well, I was doing this just I think last week, and I was changing the structure of the values. So I just put the duplicate, like I put the old values and the new values, and deployed it. But I think I was just too scared. I think if you sync it, I'm not sure if you need to deploy hem values.
Sorry, it's my question.
Yeah.
I will rephrase. If it's dependent, so your
If it's
image
dependent, I get
goes together with these values. If you deploy it before, it can be wrong for the image now present. Why
Well,
don't make it into one Helm release?
And what's the? I'm not sure if I get how the values can affect the image, because only thing that goes inside.
I have one similar question
Yeah.
actually. So if I understood correctly, you have actually quite amount of repos. You have one repo for
Yes,
values,
it's a lot
one
of repos.
repo for hub charts, one repo maybe for application itself. So basically 3 repos. And I guess, or my question is maybe similar to the guy's question. Like when you are deploying to next environment, you are basically doing pull request in 2 repos, like you are doing the pull request in like Helm chart repo and then the pull request in values repo, or how does it work?
Well, it's like we are quite a small team, and it's possible to manage it just using just by me or something like that.
That's all right,
So
but you are.
I comment if I change something in the Helm chart, I just push changes to the Helm chart, build a new version, and deploy that new version. And there is another repository with this is the green one, and there are the values, reference to the Helm chart, and reference to the image. But I'm sorry, I don't. Yeah, that's basically how I do it. Yeah, like it's working with a lot of repositories. I basically use repositories like in the same way as I use directories. Like,
I think the question is if your Helm chart has a new structure of value, so you try to use a new value, this is necessary for starting your application, and this value is not in your value repository. How you synchronize this change?
if this value is not,
Yeah, so you introduce a new value, whatever it is, I don't know, some impress or whatever. So without this value, your Helm chart will fail to start, and you don't have a value in your values still.
yeah.
So how to deploy values and Helm chart simultaneously?
Yeah, it's like no. Well, maybe it can be problem on the stage because the deployments there are done like automatically. But on the prod, you can wait for Argo to notice both the changes and then deploy together. Like you just yeah.
Yes, so I think that was the question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can wait. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe the deeper question is what's your business values introduced? If it's all baked into image, it's all completely cool. But if some values are important for this image, like maybe arguments or something like this, then it's connected and then the problem arrives.
Yeah, I think we don't use any values that influence images. Like we use the external secrets, and we store the end values for the images there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all the environmental variables needed for the images are stored in the secret, mounted inside the image.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's basically how it's done.
I could maybe answer because we are on the same train. We have different repos, but we do have backward compatibility each time. So we actually don't have it both. So we basically introduce
Duplicate
something.
something.
Yeah, introduce it first, then start using your class.
Okay.
I have a question. What's the motivation to use image update? I would like to know maybe more details because you said that image update prevents of deploying new images to Kubernetes, or it handles itself. For example, if you may go to slide number 13.
Yeah, remember which one it is. Is it this one?
So if you slide, you have a green, it's kiddos. So if you want to deploy a new image Kubernetes, you change version to this green repository. So
Yeah.
you need the values.
Yeah.
So ArgoCD can read it and can deploy.
Yeah.
So why do you need ArgoCD image updater deployed behind back of
No, it is not deploying. It is writing to the repository.
Okay, so image updater is writing to
Yeah, I can show you the file image of this registry. It's looks like this. Okay, it's just a patch that says, yeah, this image has this tag, this image has this tag, and this is written to the repository by the image updater.
Okay, so new versions are updated automatically?
Yes, yes. And that's where we need to turn off the automatic syncing on the production, because the new version is written here, and it's on the developer to decide when he wants to deploy the version. This option to write like this, yes, you do. Like how come going away again? Since you are in GCP, or which one? Yeah. Do you use ArgoCD to deploy Crossplane with its providers, or do you deploy with ArgoCD? Well, we really don't use these composite resources. I don't know who is asking. And we deploy Crossplane using Terraform. So, yeah, we really don't use the composite resources. And the second one is, since you are in GCP, have you considered config connector instead of Crossplane to provision GCP resources via Kubernetes? If yes, what are benefits of Crossplane? Well, short answer is no. Longer answer is no. I don't even know what this config connector is, so sorry about it. I will have to take a look at this.
You can ask me and we can discuss it.
Yeah, thank you for the tip.
Okay.
I wanted to ask what are some of the reasons to use Crossplane instead of Terraform? Yeah. Because it looks like it's covering similar things like provisioning infrastructure.
Yeah, but it's that it can be managed easily through Argo and through Kubernetes.
So Argo is
It's like bringing
infrastructure and the deployments.
Yes, it's bringing everything under one roof, like under the Kubernetes. Yeah.
I have a question, maybe an elementary question. Is it possible to like deploy the cluster with the Argo?
Yes. Oh well, Crossplane.
No, with the Argo itself, or it comes to the cluster when it already exists. Maybe something else to start the cluster.
Yeah, you have to have the cluster before.
Initiate the cluster.
No, there is no way you can do that.
That was like my second question.
It's a chicken-like issue.
Yeah.
It was discussed so many times in KubeCon, and we talked with the
Integrate the cluster with
Yeah.
Argo
Yep.
first. Oh, you need Crossplane outside of your clusters and they will
created the cluster.
Where is the first Crossplane?
Yeah, above the file. This,
The mover.
Last question. So,
Yeah, one more question. So since you are stopping the production to developers to verify if they really want the image, how is this decision made by developer? Do you have some automated tooling, or it's like graphs okay, let's go, or graphs okay, stage and let's go, or do you have something more sophisticated like kind of release this one?
It's like they have some tests run in the CI pipeline. They have the stage environment where they can check and everything. So the final click on the sync is just like, okay, yeah, I believe that it is will work. ArgoCD can do quite an easy way to roll back to the previous image. So it's the last thing that can save you.
Is the click really necessary anymore? Like if
Well, yeah, it is
if
because
there's something sophisticated developer is doing that everything was green, but I would say no, I don't want to.
yeah, if you believe your test so much that you can then you can have it automated, but well, it can happen that something goes wrong, right? So it's good that like someone knows that it's deploying new version, and if something goes wrong, you can manually fix things. Yeah.
I can describe you more the scenarios why we have it. So if you are interested in such a task.
So yeah, I think that's it. No more questions. So thank you for your attention.